All right, folks, Trump loves growth, and that's the subject of the riff. Knowing him as I do, I'm quite certain that if Donald Trump had his way, he would implement the most stimulative economic policies possible in order to grow the economy. Take it from me, Trump loves growth, and he is right. The president is not a guy who wants limits to growth. In fact, he's really not a guy who even understands limits to growth. I remember during the first term, he used to ask me why places like China or India could grow at nearly 10% and the U.S. can't. As I recall, it was sometime, I think in 2018, after the tax cuts are in place, how happy he was that we were scoring 4% growth or some such, at least for several quarters, that is before the Fed started raising interest rates and getting in the way of his growth policies in the name of inflation, of all things. It's one of the great things about Mr. Trump, growth. He's a rising tide lifts all boats guy. Why shouldn't we grow fast? Cut taxes, deregulate, build factories, produce energies, get interest rates down to finance all of it. Give everybody a chance to climb the ladder of success as long as they work for it. Give them opportunity, reward success. All that is Trumpian. So that's why it's so pathetic that you have all these hidebound government agencies like the Federal Reserve or the CBO, or for that matter, places like the IMF or the World Bank. They're always telling us America cannot grow better than 2%, can't even grow at 2%. Well, there's no entrepreneurial opportunity in a below 2% economy. And yet all these PhD geniuses keep telling us it's the best we can do. No, it's not. That's wrong. You know what? For most of American history, we actually have grown at about 3.5% per year. And that's after inflation. Go back, look at the historical tables. You've got them for the 19th century. You've got tables for the 20th century. You know what? After World War II, most of the time, we grew at least someplace around 3 to 4%. And we recovered from setbacks like deep recessions, but then we would grow like 8 or 10 or 12% for a while. Now, for some reason, that kind of economic exuberance seems to have ended in the past couple of decades. That's when the big government central planners somehow seem to get control of the levers again. That's why it's so pathetic. Every time I see the Federal Reserve with one of these 1.8% long-term growth rates, you know what? If you score it at 1.8 and you say that's the best I think we can do, that's an admission of failure. That means their policies have failed and the policies must be changed. Now, for folks that don't agree with me, please go back. Look at the historical data. There's lots and lots of it. Look at the long-term trends and you'll see what I mean. This is why Mr. Trump gets so impatient with the Fed or anybody else that tells him we can't grow rapidly. Of course we can, and he knows we can. It's part of the American spirit. He's a builder, for heaven's sakes. It's part of our economic DNA. As long as all the growth spigots are unlocked, it will happen. And last point, when you get to 3 or 4% growth from the work of brilliant entrepreneurs and builders, oil people and factory hands and people on the way up, this has always led the country. There'll be no inflation because the growth absorbs money and prices. There's never inflation when you have strong growth. I think Mr. Trump knows this intuitively. That's one of the many reasons why he wants to change government, especially the central bank, and he is right to do so. And that's this evening's riff.